So, prior to AEW's Blood and Guts, Tony Khan had and AEW kind of established a list of banned moves, and I'm gonna cite this is from comicbook.com, and it said that Tony Khan is clarifying. He's providing clarification on AEW's banned move list. So the moves that are outright banned or barred include unprotected chair shots to the head, any strike to the back of the head, spitting, and selling a move to mimic a seizure. It also says that wrestlers are also banned from bringing weapons into the crowd, as well as bleeding while among the stands. So I wanted to know, first and foremost, do you think that these banned moves are going to drastically change the product?
Man, can you just send that over to me? Gotta look at it one more time. 'Cause I'm trying to remember half of it.
So
Um,
I can repeat it again. I'll send it over, but I'm going to repeat it again. So it's unprotected chair shots to the head, right?
okay.
Any strike to the back of the head. Um, yeah, hold on. I'm gonna do any strike to the back of the head, spitting, and selling a move to mimic having a seizure. Wrestlers are also banned from bringing weapons into the crowd as well as bleeding while among the stands.
All right. Now I'm looking at it. All right. As far as the unprotected chair shots to the head or any strike to the back of the head, you would think that that just wouldn't like that would have been implied not to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Not even because WWE is not doing it into mirror them, but just because I think we should have learned by now in 2023 how delicate your head is.
Mm.
Um, and
Oh,
how
Whitney
many
just said taking things from the crowd like drinks and throwing drinks. Keep going.
okay.
Thank you, Whitney.
Shout out to Whitney. She be on it.
Right.
But as far as the head, I mean, we know that has delicate and that CT is a thing. That I thought would have just been implied to not to avoid doing anything that's going to damage the head.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, they've been inviting wrestlers from Japan, and you know how they just don't care for their heads and their necks. So maybe they had an asterisk there, and now they implying it.
Mm-hmm.
Any strike, sorry, spitting. Spitting is disgusting. You know, I mean, unless like you're Hulk Hogan or Tessa or Tammy Sitch, then that's different. But spitting is disgusting, and we should avoid spitting on people. Now, selling a move to mimic having a seizure, I'm on the fence about this one, just because I. Okay, I understand why it's wrong. It's wrong because it could be triggering. It could be very triggering. And it also might scare the shit out of a lot of people watching the show from their homes. But I kind of liked it when Daniel Bryan used to scare the shit out of us. I even liked it when Ruby Soho sold her injury. I don't think it was a seizure she full on did, but like she made it look like she had a full on injury just like I think last week or 2 weeks ago or some shit like that. I kind of love it when wrestlers scare the shit out of me, and then I realize, oh wow, they're just really good at their jobs. But I mean, if it's triggering and is gonna somehow harm the viewers, I get it. And then banning the interactions with the crowd. All right, I get it. That's a lawsuit. That's possibly a lawsuit. And people are really sensitive nowadays. You really can't be touching on the crowd and interacting with them the way that you would be. And I don't know why you would take a drink from a crowd member because people be drinking lean nowadays. So I don't
Right.
know why you would want to touch a drink from them.
Lean, liquid fentanyl,
Can
all
you
of it.
imagine showing up to a wrestling show drinking lean, bro? That's crazy.
Bro.
Um, but anyways, now that I actually go list by list, I don't think it's going to really affect them. I think that the precautions that they took are sensible. They're very sensible. You would think that they wouldn't done half these things going in, but hey, it's better now than later for them to have this. The crowd stuff, it kind of sucks just because some people like MJF work really well with the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna miss a little bit of that, but I also feel like they teased it anyways. Didn't they interact with the crowd just last night?
A little bit. I didn't. may have not seen that, but I feel like it was there. I feel
I
like
thought
there was
the
a little
other
bit
rule was that you basically aren't allowed to go into the crowd, just in general, like no touchy at all.
No, no, no. It was like you can't bring weapons into the crowd. So you can go into the crowd, right? It never says anything about you can't go into the crowd. You just can't bring weapons into the
Okay, but
crowd.
I feel like as long as you can interact with the crowd in some shape, way, or form, because the AEW audience eats that stuff up,
Mm-hmm.
then that's fine. But I do think you should protect the crowd members because you don't know who is in the crowd that wants to collect a check.
I agree.
Because I don't blame you. I mean, like, circle it back to when Brock Lesnar threw a freaking car door at somebody. I don't know if that person's sued or not, but I would have sold the fuck out of that hit and collected a check. So anything to protect the wrestlers and all that stuff, I'm cool with. So I don't think this is gonna affect them. This is all just like all safety precautions. Like the show doesn't require it. The show's been fine just without it. What do you think?
I think that I think that when it comes to these changes, I think that they're like you said that they're very, very sensible. I don't think that it's a coincidence that this is happening right as they get a third show. And there have
Mhm.
also been rumors about an extension between AEW and Warner Brothers. And I feel like part of it is just like, hey, yo, look, we're going to give you the bag. If you're Warner, you're telling AEW, listen, you don't got to worry about the bag. We're going to give you the bag. We're going to run you this check. Because if not for anything else, this writer strike is happening. Everything's on pause. So all the money that could have gone to them is now going to you. You don't have to worry about that. However, we got to put some protocols in place. And these are probably the protocols. This would have been very, very useful when Cody took that dome shot by Sean Spears. Yo, I remember this was like the first, like either one the first TV episode of AEW, or like the first big pay-per-view. Dude, Cody took the nastiest unprotected chair shot to the head I've probably ever seen in my life. That would have been very, very valuable then. But like you said, it's better late than never. As far as it changing the nature of the product, I don't think that it's going to change the nature of the product. I feel like there's ways for you to kind of do what you want to do without necessarily bringing weapons into the crowd. I feel like that is going to be a very, very missed element, though, because that's very, very ECW esque. So I feel like that's going to be very, very missed. Um, However, I do feel like this overall is more so about the wellness of the wrestlers. I feel like you want to keep the wrestlers safe because AEW over the course of its 3 to 4 years there have been multiple times where they have been on the brink of something incredibly special, and then because of a slew of injuries that were caused by unnecessary moves, now everything that they were working towards is now down the drain. And I feel like, Brian Danielson could have been a victim of that. But I do know that there was this one point, Danielson missed Forbidden Door because of an injury. Adam Cole was sidelined because of an injury. Like all these things are because of injuries by moves that aren't necessarily necessary. And so I feel like this is about the wellness of the wrestler. And ultimately, when you do things that are in as it pertains to the wellness of the wrestler, it's ultimately going to affect the wellness of the product because now wrestlers can stay healthy, they can be available, and they can kind of go forth um, wrestling and not have to worry about missing something important. So ultimately, I think it's about wrestler wellness, but I do not believe that this is going to drastically change. However, I will say prayers up for John Moxley because if a man named John Moxley can go into an ESPN article and write a damn near essay on why there should be blood in wrestling, you know that he's the type of man to that is probably not going to be for these changes. But
No.
they'll figure out another way. But as it pertains to this particular topic, I want to know from everybody else, how do you guys feel about these band moves? Um, I think it's very, very interesting to say the very, very least, but we're going to be moving on